Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. If you like this content, please consider liking and subscribing so that you can get more of this content in the future, and it really helps me out to know what you guys like. This is what's known as the Swiss Alps of the United States. Now, I've never been to Switzerland. I want to go. Hopefully next year I can get a chance to go and create some great content and video for you guys. But this, from what I've seen in the pictures and the video that I've researched of Switzerland, this is as close as you can get in the United States. As we dive into what I consider to be one of the most breathtaking hikes that I've ever done. It's the Cascade Pass, Sahale Glacier Trail. We really had no idea what we were getting into when we did this hike, other than looking it up on All Trails and realizing this was one of the most popular hikes and one of the toughest hikes, longest hikes that we could do. Now, what we didn't realize when we got there is that the road leading up to the actual trailhead was closed for repair. So we had to hike an extra 3 miles in on a road uphill, and that added an extra 6 miles total to the overall hike, which actually added up to be 20 miles total for the entire hike. So we're at the beginning of the Cascade Pass Trail, and the road is closed for the next 3 miles, so we have to walk the first 3 miles uphill. But it's a beautiful morning, nice and clear, kind of cool. It's supposed to get sunny, a little warmer later today. Let's do it. Now, we stayed in Marblemount, which is about a 45-minute drive from the trailhead. So we had a cool rental property out there. It was right on the river. I mean, it was beautiful. Now, we stayed at an off-grid cabin, so we had to conserve energy while we were there, which made it even more kind of fitting to feel like we were kind of in the outdoors. We had a wood-burning hot tub. And the views from the river were just amazing. Now, in Marblemount, there's only a few restaurants. The two restaurants, there was the Upriver Grill and the Mondo restaurant. Both are great options. So definitely, if you're planning on shopping while you're there, you're gonna wanna get your supplies at another town on your way in, because there's not a whole lot of places to shop. They do have a little gas station where you can find some items to stock up on. This hike was breathtaking though, I gotta tell you. On your way up, as you start the hike, at the bottom of the trailhead, there is a series of about 35 or 36 switchbacks, which seem to take forever, but it takes you through the forest and through the woods. We spotted a deer at one point. Actually, the deer kept following us up the trail as it moved up the mountain, and we hit each switchback. We kept seeing the deer, which was really neat. As you're going through the switchbacks, you can hear the creeks and the streams coming down off the mountain. I mean, it's really just beautiful in the morning time. I highly recommend going early in the morning. We didn't see a single soul on this hike for about 6 miles in, and even then we only saw a couple of backpackers coming down. We are 3,000 feet elevation gain so far, and 6.6 miles, something like that. We're still on the switchbacks, making our way up to the top. Once you get past the switchbacks, you make it to this long stretch before you make it to the Cascade Pass, and during that time is when the mountains open up. You get out of the tree line, and now you get to see the mountains as they just absorb the skyline. And we went in the middle of July, and there was snow everywhere, waterfalls in the background, you can hear the water. Now, in the middle of July, there's snow on the trail, so be prepared if you're going in July to have to traverse some snow. The snow is slowly melting, so there were definitely some parts that were a little slick, but I definitely would recommend trekking poles, especially on the way down. It's going to take you about 3.7 miles to get to the Cascade Pass. Cascade Pass itself, when you get there, is just awe-inspiring. It's breathtaking. You get there and it's just views upon views. Now, once you get through Cascade Pass, you start heading up the Sahale Arm Trail. And the meadows, the green space is just amazing. Here we are, absolutely beautiful out here. Still making our way up, but the views at this point are just awesome. We're in July, and we still got snow all over the place. Just everywhere you look, just beautiful. Look at this. You get to a certain point where you can look down on Doubtful Lake. Now, you can also take a hike down to Doubtful Lake, but we didn't do that this time because of time restraints and the miles of hiking we had already laid out before us. Down there's what we call, I think it's called Doubtful Lake. You see all the waterfalls flowing in, and the mountain range just goes on and on. But man, was it beautiful. The lake itself, I don't know if you could see in our videos, but there were multiple waterfalls running into the lake. I mean, it was breathtaking. This was a spot that really actually made me kind of well up with emotion. For one, I spread some of my mom's ashes out there. She had passed away earlier this year. And one of her wishes, she had wrote to me in a letter, was she wanted to travel to Washington State. She had never been. So I took some of her with us and spread her ashes up there and along other parts of the trail, even up at the top. But that spot in particular was just amazing. What an awesome resting place for my mom. So I hope that if you visit, you can take a minute to just stand in the same spot that we stood and just take it all in and appreciate the moment that I had there as well. But as you make your way up, the coolest part about this whole hike, I think that a lot of people will love, are all the goats that you'll see on the hike. I mean, there are dozens of goats, and when we went, there were baby goats. It was just, we could stop and sit there and just stare, and they were very approachable. I mean, they didn't let you come up and pet them, but you know, you could stand within yards of them and they would just eat and graze. The meadows, the flowers that were around, the blue skies, the snow, the mountains and the grays. I mean, there's just so much color. It was beautiful. I mean, my wife was saying she wished she could live up there. But then the toughest part of the hike is you get to the top where the glacier is, you gotta hike up all of these rocks that are kind of like loose rocks, and you do a lot of mostly hands and feet, and you know, it's not a high elevation necessarily, but it's still pretty strenuous because as you get to this point, you're on mile, at least in our case, because we had the extra 3 miles on the road march leading up to the trailhead, we're on like mile 8 or 9, so we're hiking up. And it was pretty tough, but boy, when you get to the top, the views, I mean, you can check it out from our video. They're amazing. All right, so we made it up here. Sahale Pass, all the way at the top, almost 10 miles to the top. Look at this, 5 hours. We've got 10 more miles to hike back down. Just truly beautiful up here. People have even created a little windbreak. They've created some rocks up there that you can sit down, you could take a nap, you could eat lunch. I think some people even camp up there and they set up their tents. We even saw some footprints in the snow leading up to the glacier. So if you're brave enough and you want to do that, I would definitely put on some crampons on your shoes, take your hiking poles, and maybe you could trek up if you wanted to do that. If you're gonna do this, guys, you gotta do the whole thing. You gotta go all the way up, because what I kept saying to myself is I didn't come this far to only come this far, you know what I mean? But we knew that we had to make our way back down, and that was gonna be a 10-mile hike, and I gotta tell you, that was one of the toughest hikes I've ever done in my life. And we've done some pretty tough hikes. Hiking the Grand Canyon was one that was pretty comparable to this, just in different ways. And just making your way down, you get a different view, different vantage point. You realize how small you really are in the world, and how much further you have to go on this hike. Okay, so we're making our way back. We were way up there on that ridge. Now we've got to go, you can't even see it, way down there, way down there. And the switchbacks going back down were pretty tough. And then of course that road march, that last road march, my feet were on fire. They were burning. So here's what I recommend for this hike. I definitely recommend taking a backpack, taking plenty of water. Now we did bring a filtered water bottle so we filled that up in the streams. You'll see my wife in some of the videos filling up her bottle from the glacier water coming off the snow, and we used that to drink the water out of. We brought a few sandwiches and a few snacks, but again, this was a 20-mile hike, so I think I would have brought more had I done this again. So we rate this one a 10 out of 10. Definitely go check it out. If you've been, please comment below. Tell us about your stories. If you like this video and you want to see more content, please like, subscribe, let us know you like it. Comment down below. I'd love to hear, what did I miss? What do we need to go do next time? I want to go back. What do we need to check out in Marblemount that we didn't have in this video? Thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.